Students, it's time for question answers of the pedestrian. First, let's do the MCQs. First question is your hands up or will shoot. Which of the following words best describes the speaker's tone? The answer is C, threatening. Choose the option that lists the events in the correct order. And the answer is option B. Which of the following statements is not true? Option A. There was only the shadow of the Christmas tree and a man. There was a shadow of a hawk, not of Christmas tree and man. Question number 4. Select the option that shows the correct relationship between statement 1 and 2. The statements are put up your hands. Number 2, walking for air, walking to sea. 1 is independent of 2. Option B. The police takes away Leonard Mead because he was non-conformist. Option C. The story The Pedestrian belongs to which genre? Futuristic. In which month of the year is it set? November. Which year of the future is the plot of the story set in? 2053. What do the houses of the people in their homes look like? Tombs. Why had Maid worn sneakers while walking? They would not make a noise and attract attention. How do the people glued to their television sets look to the protagonist? Phantoms. Question number 12. The metallic cars have a dash sound. Harsh. People driving in their cars during day are compared to insects. What does the story focus on? Dehumanization of the people. Who is in the car? No one. It was a robotic car. Now the first passage. He would stand upon the corner of an intersection and peer down long moonlit avenues of a sidewalk in 4 directions, deciding which way to go, but it really made no difference. Question is, who is he referred to? What was the routine of the person? He refers to Leonard Mead, the protagonist of the story. His routine was to take solitary evening walks, peering down the empty moonlit sidewalks and avenues, deciding which way to go. Second question. Which time and month of the year does the passage describe? What does the year indicate? Answer. The passage describes the time as evening around 8 p.m. in the month of November. The year 2053 mentioned in the story indicates the futuristic nature of the story. Why does the author say it really made no difference? The author says it really made no difference which way Leonard chose to walk because the streets were all deserted and empty at that hour. What would fascinate the solitary walker? The cottages and homes with undrawn curtains and opened windows would attract the solitary walker because he could see the figures, phantom like figures, and could hear some whispering also. Who would accompany the walker open in the open? Why? The squads of dogs would accompany him in the open. They would accompany him. What is the reason? They would accompany him if he wore hard heels. Second passage. Sudden grey phantom seemed to manifest upon inner room walls, where a curtain was still undrawn against the night, or there were whisperings and murmurs where a window in a tomb-like building was still open. Question is, what are the grey phantoms? Why are they so called here? The shadows of the people appearing on the walls of their houses are called the grey phantoms. And why are they so called here? They are called phantoms because they seem ghostly and unreal. Where would he see the grey phantoms? Leonard Mead would see the grey phantoms on the inside walls of people's homes where a curtain was still undrawn or a window left open. Next question is, why are the houses tomb like? What kind of picture is this? Answer is, the houses are called tomb like because they are dark and lifeless, with the occupants being like ghosts inside. This picture of the atmosphere prevailing there is grim and depressing, similar to that of a graveyard. What did walking past the houses feel like? Walking past the houses, which were completely deserted, means no one was there, completely deserted and silent, was like walking through a graveyard. The people living there seemed dead and lifeless. What kind of life is hinted at here? The life hinted at this place is artificial, passive, and mechanical. It is marked by the silence of a graveyard. Third passage. There was a good crystal frost in the air. It cut the nose and made the lungs blaze like a Christmas tree inside. You could feel the cool light going on and off, all the branches filled with invisible snow. First question, what time of the day does the passage indicate? How do you know? Answer, the passage indicates evening time. We know this from the reference to the lights going on and off. What kind of experience does the speaker tell? Explain the image, lungs blaze like a Christmas tree inside. Answer, the speaker describes the experience of breathing in the cold, frosty air. The cold air stings his nose and makes his lungs feel like they are ablaze and glowing inside his body like a lit up Christmas tree. Another question, how did the speaker react to the scenery outside? Answer is, the speaker reacted with enjoyment and appreciation to the scenery outside. He whistled between his teeth and tried to listen to the sound of his own shoes. He also whispered, "Hello in there," in single commas, on every side as he walked on. Fourth question, what do you learn about the speaker from this extract? Answer, from this extract, we learn that the speaker is observant and receptive to the sights, sounds, and sensations of nature during his walk outside in the evening. Fifth question, explain the image, all the branches filled with invisible snow, with reference to the life people live here. Answer, the expression the expression, all the branches filled with invisible snow, implies the cold and sterile life of the people living there. They do not have any interaction with one another, and there is no warmth in their relationships. Passage 4. The street was silent and long and empty, with only his shadow moving like the shadow of a hawk in mid country. If he closed his eyes and stood very still, frozen, he could imagine himself upon the center of a plain, a wintry, windless Arizona desert with no house in 1,000 miles and only dry river beds, the streets for company. First question, what kind of picture does the speaker present here? Answer is, the picture that the speaker presents here is of a deserted and lonely place. There is silence all over. There are no signs of life. It is a picture of dismay. Second question: who does the speaker compare himself with? How? And to what purpose? Answer is: the speaker compares himself to a hawk. He says if he stood very still, he could imagine himself upon the center of Arizona desert with no house. The comparison shows how alone yet self contained he feels. Third question: what kind of person is the speaker? From the passage, we can infer that the speaker is a loner who values solitude and imagination. He does not feel lonely, but rather seems to enjoy being alone with his thoughts. Fourth question: where is the speaker wandering? Why does he mention Arizona? Answer is: the speaker is wandering in the empty streets of the city he lives in. He mentions Arizona to highlight the loneliness of the place. Fifth question: who encounters him later in the context and why? Answer is: later in the story, the robotic police car encounters Leonard Mead to interrogate him because he is unlike the other inhabitants of the deserted, lonely city. Passage 5: what is it now? He asked the houses, noticing his wristwatch. 8:30 p.m. Time for a dozen assorted murders, a quiz, a review, a comedian falling off the stage. First question is: who is the speaker in this extract? Leonard Mead is the speaker. Who are the listeners? The listeners are the houses he is walking past, whose occupants are all inside glued to their television sets. Second question: are the murders so frequent? Why does the speaker ask about the murders? No, the murders are not actually so frequent. The speaker rhetorically asks about the murders to comment sarcastically on the docile population's preference for such violent televised entertainment. What is a review? Where would the review take place? A review is light theatrical entertainment, satirical in nature. The review here is to take place on television. Fourth question: what makes a speaker ask these questions? Is he satisfied with their answers? The speaker asks these rhetorical questions in a sardonic way to critique the passive television addicted populace. He observes, since no one actually replies, he is dissatisfied by the lack of human vitality. What kind of life is lived by the people in the city? Does the pedestrian appreciate this life? Answer is: a mechanical, boring, and suppressed life is lived in the city. The people follow the dictates of the rulers and the authorities very strictly. The speaker does not appreciate this type of life and criticizes it. Sixth passage: he turned back on a side street, circling around toward his home. He was within a block of his destination when the lone car turned a corner quite suddenly and flashed a white cone of light upon him. He stood entranced, not unlike a night moth, stunned by the illumination and then drawn toward it. First question: where was the speaker when he was asked to stop? The speaker was within a block of his home, returning from his nightly walk when a car suddenly turned the corner and flashed a bright light on him. Second question: why do you think was the speaker stopped and by whom? I think The speaker was stopped by the police as his solitary nighttime stroll was considered suspicious and abnormal behavior. Third question, what led to his being stunned? Answer is the sudden bright cone of light flashed on him from the police car stunned Leonard made. Fourth question, what was his reaction when he was asked to stop? When asked to stop, Leonard Mead stood entranced and frozen, unable to move, like a moth stunned by a bright light. Fifth question, who do you think was in the car? What kind of light fell on the speaker? What does the car symbolize? There was no one in the car. It was a robotic police car. It implies the invisible and domineering presence of the authorities symbolized by the car that speaks. The light that fell on the speaker was a fierce white cone shaped one. Seventh passage. Ever since a year ago, 2052, the election year, the force had been cut down from 3 cars to one. Crime was ebbing. There was no need now for the police, save for this one lone car wandering empty streets. First question, which event that took place in 2052 does the story refer to? The story refers to the election year of 2052 when the police force was reduced from 3 cars to one. Second question, why had the police force been reduced? Due to the ebbing of crime, there was no need of more force. Consequently, the number of cars, that is, the police force, had been reduced. What does the passage hint at about activities of the people at night? The passage hints that people were largely inactive and homebound at night, passively watching television. Earlier, the speaker says that seeing a car wandering at night is an incredible thing. How? Answer is it was incredible because the streets were generally totally empty and deserted at night. So, a moving car was an anomaly. Fifth question, which first question is the speaker asked by the car? What kind of car is it? Answer is the first question asked is about the speaker's name. It is a robotic police car without any human occupants. Last passage is he put his hand to the door and peered into the back seat, which was a little cell, a little black jail with bars. It smelled of riveted steel. It smelled of harsh antiseptic. It smelled too clean and hard and metallic. There was nothing soft there. First question is, what did the back seat look like? Answer is, the back seat was like a small prison. It was black and had bars like that of a jail. It also smelled of harsh antiseptic. Second question, the speaker says that the back seat smelled of a harsh antiseptic. What does he want to convey? Answer is the back seat smelling of a harsh antiseptic means that it was meant to control the people and keep them in check, as antiseptic keeps the germs. It also implies killing people like germs. The speaker here wants to convey the inhuman attitude of the government agencies towards the common people. Third question is explain. There was nothing soft there. Answer is the speaker Leonard Mead says there was nothing soft there. It means that the police force represented by the car was cruel and harsh. There were no humane feelings or kindness in them. Question number 4. Who was driving the car? Where was the speaker being taken? Answer is the car was driverless, being remotely operated. The speaker was being taken to a psychiatric research center. Last question is, why do you think was the speaker taken in the car? What crime had he committed? Answer is, the speaker was taken in the car as the car represented the authorities and was used to control crime. The crime of the speaker was that he had not behaved like other citizens. He was a non-conformist for the authorities. Thank you for watching.